reception in the cafeteria off to my left after the program tonight. The class has chosen for their speaker tonight to bring the message, Brother Danny Wyatt, which is a minister of the Carl Hill Church of Christ. So Brother Wyatt will come at this time and deliver the message.
Thank you, Mr. Coomer and class of 1985. I appreciate very much the opportunity of being with you, and I thank you for inviting me and having me here with you tonight to speak a few words to you concerning some things that I think may be very important to you in life. You know, this is your night. It belongs to you. It ought to be yours. You've earned it, or at least most of you have. So I'm not going to take a lot of time in saying a lot of things that may not be very important, but I want to dwell on a couple in particular, particularly about our world situation today. Because whether you like it or whether you don't like it, you are the world. Today, right now, you people and you young people that sit before me are today's society. And you're going to have to step into it, and you're going to have to take responsibility in that society as working members of that society. You know, our world situation has changed a lot in the last 25 years. Matter of fact, in the last 25 years, our world situation has decayed quite a bit. We hear every day about how things might be getting worse or are getting worse. And friends, we can't afford another 25 years of that sort of decay. But you young people can make a difference. Those of you here tonight not only can make a difference, but you do have a responsibility to make sure that you do make that difference. You cannot now, as you step out into this world, lay the blame on somebody else's shoulders and say, look at the world that you have left me. Because you're now free, you are now with the responsibility and the freedom to make that world what you want it to be. A lot of times we hear a lot of situations about the young people of our day. I'm convinced that you are not as bad as some people would have us to believe from time to time. We hear a lot of situations said, a lot of words said about how maybe young people are not as responsible as they used to be, or they don't take as much of a hold and do things like they used to be, or perhaps they're just going to the dogs or whatever. I'm convinced, young people, and adults and mothers and daddies in this audience, that the reason that we have sometimes young people who do not perform as well as they ought to be is because they've had such pitifully poor examples to fashion themselves after over the years from those adults around them. But now you have the opportunity and the responsibility to make sure that those who follow in your footsteps, can I say that those who follow in your footsteps can have someone to look to, that have a role model that they can be a contributing member of our society. I've followed a whole lot of you over the years. Out of this class of 230 some, I've had approximately 125 of you in class at one time or another. And I do know most of you and have seen most of you perform over the years. And I've seen a great many of you make a difference. I have seen in the past in one field or another that you can make a difference in what you've tried to do and what you have set out in this life to do. Some of you have done less than your best at times. Some of you have excelled. The reason that I think that sometimes we or you do less than your best is because you may think that you can't. You don't have that confidence in yourself or in the ability that you might have to be the leader of today that you ought to have. You know, we can pretty well in this life do just about anything that we want to do. Abraham Lincoln said once upon a time that a man is just about as happy as he makes up his mind to be. And I feel like that's true. I feel like that the circumstances in your life and the world around you are not going to make you, nor are they going to break you. But they're only going to prove what kind of true character you've got. They're only going to expose what you really are underneath. Franklin Roosevelt said once upon a time, we have nothing to fear but fear itself. And so it is with you today. You don't have anything to be afraid of in this world as you head into it, except the fact that you might be afraid. The fact that you might not take hold or tackle it. And I'm saying to you tonight that you can make a difference. You as young people in this world can make a difference in the society in which you live. And I challenge you to stand up. And I challenge you tonight to reach out. I challenge you to swim against the tide, against the flow, because I know the stuff that you're made of. I know, as well as anybody from personal experience with most of you, the stuff of which you're made of. And I've seen it. I've seen you perform when times are tough. I've seen you perform when times are easy. I've seen you succeed, and I've seen you fail. The movie says Right Stuff. You know the title of that movie, The Right Stuff? You've got it. You've got it if you want to use it. But nobody else can use it for you. Nobody else can get it out of you. You can put it out, or you can hold it in. Society can live and die, live or die, based upon what you do. But you know, faith in God is one of the essentials. As you try to go out here in life and do whatever it is that you're going to do in life, it cannot be a success, a true success, and it will not succeed without a faith in and a reliance upon the God of heaven. The inspired writer said within the Scriptures that except the Lord build the house, they labor in vain that build it. He also went along in the same passage and said, except the Lord keeps the city, the watchman waketh but in vain. Whatsoever thy hand finds to do, do it with all thy might. You can make a difference. Now you've reached a place tonight that some of you, many of you, have longed for a long time. You've looked for that time when you could finally graduate from high school and get out here in the world and take your place. Some of you have longed for it, and maybe, just maybe, you thought it wasn't ever going to get here. It just seemed like time drug by and it's not going to get here. But it came, and it's here, and it slipped up on some of you, and it caught you by surprise, and some of you it caught you unprepared, and you weren't quite ready to do what it is that you're going to be asked to do or expected to do. And now some of you may wish that you could just go on for a little while like it was, because you're not quite ready to step out here and do what it is that people are going to expect you to do. Maybe you don't think that way right now, but I suspect that many of you will before long. But later, when the new is gone, you're going to want to go back, perhaps some of you might. What I'm saying is you can't go back. You can't go back. You can't do it over. Thomas Wolfe wrote a line, and he said, you can't go home again. And that's true. You can't go home again. Once you've left, once you've gone on, once you have done what it is you're going to do, you've got to take what you've got and go with it. You've got to sleep in the bed that you've made. I want you to remember that from now on. Because you are, as I said earlier, now the nation. You are now the society. And I challenge you to make a difference. Because, friends, society is going to stand or it's going to fall based in part upon what you do and based in part upon what you are. You need to determine tonight to be all that you can be. Determine to do what is right. Determine to take a stand for those things in life that are right rather than always those things that are convenient. And it takes courage to stand for what's right and to do in this life what you know that you should do, what the Lord would have you to do. But the Apostle Paul said in Philippians chapter 4 and verse 13 that I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. So where do you go from here? Where is it tonight that you go from here? That's a question many people are asking. Maybe even you sitting in here tonight and thinking in your minds, where do I go from here? You're going to have some newfound freedom that you've not had before. You're going to have some freedom that has been given to you by the simple fact that you are now out of high school and are going to be on your own even more. But with that freedom comes a responsibility. And I want you to remember this thing. Freedom demands responsibility. Where do you go from here? You go wherever you want to go, provided you want to get there badly enough. And provided you want to make the sacrifices necessary to get there. I'm not being fanciful about it. I'm not being naive about it. A new order of things in this society will not come easy. Evil is not here today and gone tomorrow with a snap of the fingers. Because it has very deep roots that have been grown into our society over the years. But you can make this an unbelievably better world, if you will. If you have faith enough and you have the courage to commit yourself to a lifetime of doing those things that are right and good, to change this society for the better, you can commit yourself and you can make a difference. Because we have in this land today a strong and a vibrant nation. But there is a rottenness in the bones of this nation that needs to be purged. The healthy person in this nation who chooses to loaf on unemployment compensation is an enemy of your freedom. A better world cannot begin tonight with the refusal for you to shoulder your part of the workload in the society that you're about to step into. The author who writes the bad things about us may be exposing the truth, but if he deals and panders to the worst that's in us, he's not a friend of freedom. Such a person is not helping to build a better world by continuously griping and complaining about those things that we have. The mob out here who throws bottles when the police attempt a legitimate arrest do not even deserve the protection of the law. Those who oppose law while taking shelter under it are not helping to build a better world. It's up to you. The right to dissent is a precious freedom, but those who use that right to deny others the same right are missing the boat. Laws and ordinances can't or can be changed, but they can't be rewritten in the streets, friends. And you're going to have to do it. Freedom is threatened when you turn it into a license to do as you please. Jesus had a lot to say about that. Jesus' men, the apostles, had a lot to say about it, because they saw the danger, even in religion, of allowing freedom to become licensed. Peter said, live as free men, yet without using your freedom as a pretext for evil, in 1 Peter 2 and verse 16. There can be no freedom in this world, tomorrow, today, or ever, in the absence of self-discipline. You must discipline yourself. Nobody else can do it for you. You must discipline yourself. Men have constantly had to relearn this. Those who do not discipline themselves will eventually end up in shackles, in bondage to another nation, to another people. And if we in our society today do not learn self-discipline, somebody else will do it for us. But we won't like the way they do it. We'll be in bondage. When the Goths stormed over the walls of Rome, it was not because the walls of Rome were low, but because Rome itself was morally and spiritually low. Rome fell because Rome was not fit to live, as you've probably learned in your history classes. Germany learned this lesson the hard way. From 40 years ago or 50 years ago, many young people resented the Weimar Republic. They felt that it had been given upon them or foisted upon them by a not quite with it older generation, and they rejected its rule. And they became reactionaries, and they punctuated their protests by force, and those young people eventually got even with their elders, but they paid a very high price for it in a man by the name of Hitler. It was expensive for the rest of the world, too. And so what I'm saying is that freedom and responsibility are twins. You're going to get a measure of freedom, but you've got a responsibility. You must become an expert in the use of the tools of temperance and balance and self-control if you're going to accept this challenge that I'm giving to you tonight to build a better world. And not take it like it is and be satisfied with it. Build it better. Because, friends, nobody in this world today has a right to criticize what they will not work to improve. Nobody has a right to criticize what's gone on before them, what their mother, father, and elders have done if they won't work to improve it. If you won't work to improve it, don't criticize it. And I'm saying you can improve it. Somebody says, well, we have to have our identity and we have to speak out against things that are wrong, don't we? Sure. But you have not earned your right to be a critic of the world until you have worked to improve the part of the world where you are, and that part includes you. So reach out, take hold, and climb high. I know you can. I know you can. I've seen you, and I know you can succeed. Young person, tonight, that's what this world really needs from you. We need you to climb very, very high, because so much depends upon you. If tomorrow's history is going to be brighter, it's going to be brighter because of you. It's not going to be brighter in spite of you. Do you have what it takes? I believe you do. And I challenge you to step into your place in life, whatever that might be, housewife, politician, teacher, doctor, social worker, carpenter, minister, whatever it is that you're going to do, and to do your very best with a faith in God. And when you step down from your life's calling in 50 years, may it be that you step down with the satisfaction that you've helped build a better world. Remember this, a better world begins with me. You can make a difference. Thank you.
everyone please join me in a salute to our flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Y'all please join me in invocation. Just like this. Dear Lord, please help us pass the 85 in the years to come. We thank all the teachers, the faculty, our son who never will forget. And most of all, thank parents and relatives, most of all the parents that stayed with us from the day we was born. Amen.
Good evening and welcome to our 1985 commencement. I know it's warm in here and we'll move through this as rapidly as possible if you'll be with us. There's a few people I'd like to give thanks to for helping out with the senior class this year. Before we proceed, I'd like to thank Richard Tinsley for the sound system he's providing for us. Also Mike England for the video. New Farmers Bank for presenting the seniors with their 1985 mugs. Our BCHS choir and Mrs. James for helping out with the music. Also Mr. Duval and the Marion County High School Band for the marching music. Rear's Florist for providing the greenery for us on the stage here. Ford Furniture Company for the cedar chest for the young ladies. And also the Marion County Sheriff's Department and the Auxiliary Police for helping us with parking cars and getting them in and out. Also like to thank Hardee's for their special price on the luncheon for our senior activity day. And we'll move right on into our exercises. This class of 85, as many of the ones that preceded them, have selected 2 students from their own class to give their speeches tonight. We have 1 boy and 1 girl from the senior class that will give their speeches tonight. To start out with, the first one will be Sheila Renee Botts, if she'd come and give her speech at this time.
Ladies and gentlemen, I stand before you tonight to say farewell, to say thank you, and to say good luck. Our days at Barron County High are coming to an end. This end, though it always seems sad, represents a new beginning loaded with opportunity. Barron County High has carried us up the first flight of stairs in life's climb to success. I'm very proud to have the opportunity to learn and grow here. Only 4 years ago, this class came through those front doors of this school. This seems so large. But as these 4 years have passed, this has become our home. We've learned our way through those big halls, we've gotten to know our teachers, and we've taken school pride in everything we've done. Needless to say, our class has been very successful. We not only strive for academic excellence, but we've also learned respect, responsibility, and a will-to-win attitude from our athletic programs and clubs. Our football team captured our first ever district championship. The boys basketball team had a winning season, only the 3rd in the school's history. The girls were regional runner-ups, and the cross-country team captured a traditional regional crown. The baseball team also captured the district crown, and the cheerleaders entered the show, making it all the way to the national finals in Dallas, Texas. Our clubs have added to the long list of achievements also. FFA, Beta, and FHA clubs led the way, gaining numerous honors. These activities are considered to be extracurricular, but as a participant of these, I've received a great deal of enrichment from them. The athletes have learned how to win and lose together. We've learned how to put everything we have on the line to succeed. My basketball coach once told us that if we had the will to win, we would succeed. He pressed his attitude on all his players, but you see, he didn't only want us to win games for him or for this school. He wanted us to win when we walked out of this school and faced the world outside this gym. I carry those words in everything I do, and as long as we have the will to win, we're going to succeed. Our coaches and teachers and club sponsors have taught us this attitude, and it's probably the most important thing we've learned this far. You've become very special and important people to us. Our teachers have given us the support, encouragement, and the motivation to learn. All of you have given us the opportunity to learn in the atmosphere and to mature into intelligent adults. Your teaching, friendship, and advice will always remain with us. There's no way we could ever repay you for this, but we love you for it. But perhaps an even greater thanks goes to our parents. They provided the basis of our education. They stood beside us between good times and bad. They've tried to help push us to our limit. They provided a home, a lot of love, and a lot of understanding. They haven't had it easy, especially when they try to travel to ball games 3 nights a week or pick us up at band practice every day. But no matter what we did, you're always there. When we fell, you helped us up. When we quit,